hottest topics, the latest rumors, in-depth discussions, and the biggest headlines. Your weekly WWE fix all in one place. Find us on YouTube, iTunes, Automatic, and SoundCloud. This is the Main Event Podcast with your hosts, Imran, Arif, and Raza. It's time for the Main Event.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Main Event Podcast. I hope you're all having a fantastic week, and I hope you all enjoyed Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live as well.
Raza,
yes.
Don't move. There's a Pidgey on your head.
Are we starting this already?
Just don't move. Just don't move. Just don't. There we go. Got it.
Can I
got it? Yeah, carry on.
Thank you. As always, I'm your host, Raza, and I'm joined by, as you heard, everyone's favourite co-host, Arif. How's it going?
Just playing some Pokemon Go. Are we doing anything important?
I'm just recording the podcast.
Yeah, so nothing. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just do what I do. The build of SummerSlam continues. Plenty happening in both shows this week, along with other updates going on behind the scenes, which we'll definitely get into. We're discussing Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, championship titles, and much more right here on episode number 53 of the Main Event Podcast.
We made it to 53. That's
somehow
a week past our year birthday.
Yeah,
so we've been recording for over a year consistently.
We just forgot to press record on some of them, but all is forgiven.
Now, this seems to happen quite a lot. Maybe I shouldn't be given that responsibility in the future.
We've realised that now. So yeah, stick around for all of that good stuff. And before we do get on with the show, I'd just like to remind you that there are plenty of ways you can tune in every single week. You can subscribe to us on iTunes as well as YouTube, so please subscribe to our channel, like the videos, comment, recommend to your friends too. We'd greatly appreciate that. And you can also catch us on Podomatic and SoundCloud as well. All you need to do is search for the Main Event Podcast and you will find us on those platforms. Oh, and before I interrupt me, we do have an email address, which is tmepodcast@gmail.com.
tmepodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you for the confirmation.
Oh, no problem.
If you ever do feel the need to email us, we will reply. And the social media links are in the description section wherever you're listening as well. So if you want to check those out, you can do that also. Just one final thing before we get on with the show. Arif told me he wants to dedicate this episode to someone special.
Oh.
Somebody close to his heart.
Oh.
He looked forward to watching him on the WWE Network.
Uh-huh.
He already watched him on the WWE Network, I should say. He was a huge supporter of his.
All the time.
He wanted to follow his journey from NXT to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
I think I know where this is going now.
But unfortunately, he can't because he's been released. Arif is understandably upset. Tough Enough ZZ has been released by the WWE.
I think, do you know what? Thinking back as well, I think they were some of our best ever shows. Go back and listen to that episode, people. You don't need to listen to this one because it's just going to be me crying for the next 45 minutes.
Every title has ZZ in it. It's probably our best work.
I don't understand. Do you remember how good The Miz was on those episodes?
Yeah, you won't catch us saying that again.
Wow.
No.
So why did he get released? You're the insider. You got the scoops.
I don't think he probably.
You like the ice cream man?
I don't
you want any sprinkles on that, sir? No, thank you. Just the scoops.
Thank you for that.
Just the scoops, Reza. Give us the scoop.
As far as
people want the scoop.
As far as I'm aware, I don't think he was advancing as well as they wanted him to. But he did get one victory, not on television though.
Who did he beat?
I don't know his NXT name. I think it was. I don't know. I'm never going to bother.
So let me stall while you find this information in the mystical, magical place that is known as the internet. So people, as Rosa mentioned, tmepodcast@gmail.com. It's a great place to send us your emails. I personally will reply, read.
O'Neil Lorcan, Wani Lorcan,
there we go.
Something like that.
I was about to commit to something that I really didn't want to commit to.
Something like that. But yeah, that's only one victory he's had. So technically he's going undefeated. So that's one positive in ZZ's career. Right, no more time wasting. Now let's get on with today's episode.
Let's go.
And we're kicking off with Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton. Their feud, they're going to have a match at SummerSlam, as we all know. Their feud has really picked up steam this past week. We had Orton,
like an old train.
Orton invading Raw, hitting an RKO literally out of nowhere. I didn't even see that coming.
I think we all knew it was coming though.
Yeah, of course.
What Heyman was saying and how close the camera was to Brock's face. That was scary.
Hitting RKO, and then the following night. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way, just in case you haven't. Just in case you haven't.
Maybe you should say that at the start.
Yeah.
Discussions. Hey, we talk about wrestling here. We talk about the week in wrestling. It would be weird if we would talk about wrestling 5 years ago. So surely you're coming into this. I'm speaking to the audience now. Surely you're coming into this knowing that we're talking about this week in wrestling. By the time you listen to this, it's going to be Wednesday evening UK time onwards.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk about Raw and SmackDown. Deal with it.
So yeah, the following night. Thank you, Eric, for that.
I got you back.
Then Brock Lesnar.
I feel like this show only really works if we support each other and love each other and care for each other. And
when are you going to start doing that?
Block out the haters. I'll start now. I mean, it might waver a little bit, but we'll start now. We'll go.
But yeah, Lesnar came on SmackDown the following night, hitting F5. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. But yeah, what did you make of what did happen between the two?
I thought it was the right way to ignite the feud that seems to have gone nowhere since it got announced a couple of weeks ago, which is understandable because we had Orton come back, we had him have this little mini tit for tat with Chris Jericho, and then build up to this. And I think it was the perfect time because Brock Lesnar's back on TV now. To see him at Raw and then on SmackDown, especially SmackDown, I did not expect.
I don't think it was announced, was it, that he hasn't appeared? Because usually Lesnar has announced appearances that he's booked in for a certain day.
Especially if they're paying him so much to appear.
Yeah, so that was a surprise, yeah.
It's huge, but I guess it's also a way to A, extend the feud, make it more relevant being on both shows, and B, elevate SmackDown from that mediocre status that it probably still has.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, I thought it was really well done. What do you think of Paul Heyman in the whole thing?
I think Paul Heyman was typical Paul Heyman. What I like about him is he builds up the right superstars and the threats that they bring. I think he did it with Reigns. Although he played down the threat that he could defeat Lesnar, he built him up as this future star. He could have easily just buried Randy Orton, saying, he's past it, he was the legend killer, he's this, he's that. But no, I was quite pleased with what Heyman had to say about him.
Orton looks like he's put on some muscle as well. He didn't look small next to Lesnar like a lot of Lesnar's opponents do.
So, it'll be interesting to see once they actually compete in the ring. But yeah, I'm more happy now with what I've seen than what I thought was going to happen when this match got announced.
Is it a match that you've been looking forward to?
I think everyone's looking forward to this because it was like, I think the last time they fought, Orton was probably not even in Evolution. So it wasn't
14 years in the making.
So I think this
one tag team match that I've seen with them both in.
Yeah. So I think this had to happen at some point, and I think it is literally now or never where this can happen. They've both built their legacies. They're both, first ballot Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers. That's a guarantee. And I think if we've seen Cena and Orton, we've seen Cena and Lesnar, we have to see Lesnar and Orton.
Now, Reza, this is something that I obviously know the answer to, being such an esteemed member of a podcast with such an average co-host. But for other people who may be listening and maybe don't know what a first ballot Hall of Famer is, maybe you could shed some light on what that terminology means. For other people, for me, I could clearly answer this, but I'd rather you do it.
The first ballot Hall of Famer would be the Marquee Hall of Fame.
The whole Marquee Hall of Fame, yes. Signing.
Inductee that year. So you have your Sting, your Hulk Hogan, the main guy to focus on.
Yep.
Basically, that's what it is.
Miss Jackie.
Yes, we can. Yeah. First ballot, Miss Jackie. Did you think this was a good way of effectively, I'd say, I want to say kicking off the SmackDown vs. Raw battle? That's been happening for a week now, but this is the first real SmackDown vs. Raw feud. Do you think this was the right time to do it with these two stars?
I think I see it less as the start of the feud and more the. It's really, I guess it's really difficult because it's not necessarily it shouldn't be a feud between SmackDown and Raw because the match was made before SmackDown and Raw ever were their own separate entities as they are right now. But I see it as more of a great match between two individuals who will bring the brands at each other's necks. It's a really weird one. I don't actually have an answer to that because I've not thought about it in that way.
I think it is difficult to pick a winner because I think already it's going to be first blood to whoever wins this match. And I think up until a couple of weeks ago, I think we all thought Brock Lesnar was winning this match. It's just Orton's being fed to him. There's no way that Orton, especially with the track record that's been going on so far. Obviously now we've heard Paul Heyman say the RKO could come out of nowhere and it could potentially end the match. That's the only way you could potentially survive, which obviously to us means win. It's definitely coming across like, okay, well, maybe they're going to punish Lesnar. Maybe they're going to let Orton win this one. But does that just completely derail Lesnar? That's one of the main questions I wanted to ask. Should Lesnar win the match? Because there's so much, so much has been invested in Lesnar. over the past few years. That's what I'm hoping.
I think it would be very short-sighted of the WWE to let Lesnar lose. It definitely would, because Lesnar's that sort of person, like the Undertaker, where you want to give him the rub. You want to give the person who beats him the rub. So we all thought that Lesnar was the wrong person to beat the Undertaker. Obviously, we now realize that he was the right person because of how projected his stardom became and how much he just shot off into this main event beast that he is. The person that beats him now, I think, needs to be someone who is the next star. Someone like it's really difficult to say Finn Balor or a Sami Zayn or an AJ Styles. But that's the sort of person that I'd like to see beat, or maybe Kevin Owens now, and not a Randy Orton. So no, for me, it would have to be.
So you're saying Lesnar and Raw, basically.
It's not on Raw though. It's not a win for Raw. It's not.
Okay, but
it can't be. It's too early to have that feud begin.
I wouldn't say a complete win for Raw. I'd say Raw again, as expected, is in the driving seat then. Well then, in that case, then you could say that SmackDown won the first battle because they won the WWE Championship, which they've been very vocal about. That we've got it. We've got the championship.
True. Okay, so from that perspective, then I think it only makes sense for Lesnar to win and for Raw to have those bragging rights for a while.
Before we move on to what I think, there was something that you've brought up, and I just remembered now.
What? You got to remind me of these things. I don't remember what I said.
You said Brock Lesnar ended the streak. That decision was made. Right. I remember reading last week Paul Heyman.
Didn't say it.
Paul Heyman on his tour of the UK made some interesting comments. I don't know if he's just playing to the crowd or maybe they are true. He's saying that Lesnar's win against Undertaker could have been a shoot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said... I forgot what it was. He said something like maybe he beat the Undertaker so bad that after hitting 3 consecutive F5s, he couldn't kick out. But apparently that stemmed down to the CM Punk and Brock Lesnar feud. At SummerSlam, Lesnar and Heyman asked Vince, can they have their match at WrestleMania? Also stretch out that feud to WrestleMania, which you never know might have kept CM Punk in the WWE. You don't know at that time. Vince McMahon shot down the idea.
Why would you do that, Vince?
And then he said, you're going to fight Undertaker. And apparently,
I don't know why I'm surprised.
Yeah.
By the way.
As in, this could all be just Heyman, playing to the crowd. They've paid their money. He's going to tell them stories. Which he even said, I might be effing with you, or this might have actually happened.
Wrenching with you. Maybe
Vince Russo. I might have been Vince Russoing with you.
Oh, there we go.
Or
double stars.
Yeah. Or
back again.
Or Lesnar did actually do that, but then. After that conversation, Heyman said Lesnar and Heyman, they probably do travel together because they're so close. He said he's going to find a way to be the one in 21-1. So take that for what you will. He might have ended the streak by his own decision, and the WWE had to go with it. You can't,
of course,
not go with it after that. He's done the unthinkable.
But then I'm sure we've seen videos of them backstage afterwards where they've been hugging and thanking each other. And
again,
so I don't believe that story. I think Paul Heyman's very good at drawing up this. Imaginative picture of the past, of the future, of the present, of any story he wants to tell. I'm not buying it for a second.
But let us know what you guys think about that story. I thought it was quite interesting because in the sports entertainment world, you can't see that happening because it's a selfish business at the end of the day. So yeah, let us know.
Rosa's here with the scoops again, people. You won't get this on the Wrestling Pod World Cast.com.
You won't. Don't even bother going to that website because it probably is a website. Let's be honest.
I've probably made it to steal your information.
The way I see this Orton and Lesnar feud is there's been a lot of speculation backstage about some of the guys, maybe the girls as well, being frustrated with the fact that Lesnar wasn't punished for his anti-doping violation. How him being a part-timer means he can, bend the rules, effectively cheat, which is what he did. There's no sugarcoating it. If he's guilty, he's a cheater. Yet Reigns failed the test, was suspended, probably financially punished. He's been pushed out the main event picture as well. Yet Lesnar's receiving that prominent role, which I understand. He's arguably their biggest draw. They do need him. And him going will be a big loss whenever that day comes. But I do think, being fair, he has to be punished in some way, whether it's something that's out in the open or something Vince does in private. Financially, maybe, I don't know, that's not the point. I think having Lesnar lose at SummerSlam isn't one of the worst ideas. I mean, yeah, Lesnar does have a great SummerSlam record. I think he's only lost one to Kurt Angle.
Yep, that sounds about right. 2003.
Yeah, and I think he's won the rest. He's got a good record. I think that's important because there's going to be a
I
day.
completely made up that number, by the way.
I think it was 2003. To be fair,
I think it was as well. I think that's when their feud really became.
That's when Lesnar tapped out, didn't he?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Lesnar tapped
and that's
out.
when the "you tapped out" chants really took off as well.
And I think that's important to remember because there's going to be a day where the WWE need to, quote unquote, humanize Lesnar because he's going to need to be beaten.
Just like today's not that day, or this month isn't that month. It's not the right time to do that, especially not against Orton. I mean, you can give that rub to someone who needs it. But you give it to Orton, and this is the same person that lost consecutively to Sheamus.
Yeah, I understand. That's the only downside to it. But I think there will be somebody that comes, somebody younger that defeats Lesnar, sets himself up for a huge future. But again, that is a massive risk. Because you don't know how that'll turn out. As in, if you use the Undertaker situation, you could have had a young up-and-comer conquer the streak. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. That's why you have an established star in Lesnar to do it. And I think this is a good way to have Orton become serious again. Because as a face, he hasn't exactly been as great as he is as a heel. I think it could be a time to bring back the Legend Killer for one night to defeat, a legend, a future Hall of Famer in Lesnar. I don't think a loss would hurt Lesnar, to be fair, even if it is not in a clean way. Like we've seen the Undertaker beat him. I'm not saying it has to be a straight RKO and a pin. It can be a low blow the referee doesn't see. I
think if it isn't a straight pin, then you don't lose any credibility.
Yeah, I think that could happen. You've got to keep your options open. So I don't think Lesnar would look weak from the loss. It'd help the RKO go over as they're trying to force down our throats. And it does help Orton become probably the most dominating face on SmackDown Live. It gives them one over Raw, potentially. Then you do also have the first dent in the armor of Lesnar for when they do decide to phase him out as this beast. Get someone else in that position.
Interesting point. The point I'd like to just come back on is the RKO out of nowhere. Yeah. This is a year behind now. WWE. It's quite painful, especially with the fact that they've got it on the back of his shirt. Yeah. And yes, I understand that he's been out of action for a long time, but playing up on the meme, it's just a little bit childish. It's typical WWE. I mean, we had Pokemon Go references. I mean, who does that, right? Who references a game like that on their show?
I wonder.
But it just seems really outdated and really corny and really cheesy when the WWE do it. Even the John Cena, surprise John Cena memes.
That killed it, basically.
It kills it. Of course it does. And I can see it happening again.
The fact that it comes out of nowhere means it should stay a surprise and not
exactly
put it on the shirt and things like that. Yeah, but let us know what you think about this Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar feud. It's certainly an interesting one, considering they're on separate brands. Could go either way. I think this is one really difficult to call down the middle. Normally you would say this is Lesnar's match, but because so much has gone on, you can't rule Orton out. So again, we'll see in the coming weeks what happens. Any final thoughts on that?
I would say Brock Lesnar to still win the match.
This week I'm going to go with Orton. It might change next week depending on what.
No, we've got the confirmation there.
But isn't that the prediction show 2 or 3 weeks away?
No, we predict ongoing predictions, right? That's what we do.
This is how it works.
You're the scoop man, Reza. You're not the predictor. Okay. The predictor.
That's fine. So let us know your thoughts on that feud and what's happening as well. So let's move on to something that happened on SmackDown now. AJ Styles and John Cena. Let's get right into this one. A lot was said on SmackDown Live. What do you make of the comments made by both men? And the challenge laid down by Styles as well?
Yeah, I was really into it when AJ Styles opened his mouth. I really liked the flow. I really liked his delivery.
It worked really well. Isn't he?
He has improved by leaps and bounds.
I think it's the heel.
Because he didn't exactly. I think it is because he's a heel and he's more natural as a heel, and he was able to do it in Japan. And he's not trying to be this cartoon character like John Cena is. He's not faking anything. He's being very genuine, and he's able to just come out with these comments and these disses as he probably would in real life. He's very much like that. I think he's very quick-witted, but John Cena falls back into his same old routine, and this is why we don't like John Cena, because he comes across as he's trying to bury his opponents with his comments, calling them childish, calling them stupid, saying that he's going to tear them down in one phrase, and it's just, he comes out with these really silly one-liners, making the crowd chant "soccer mom haircut" and these things. It's just
these things that work when Enzo says it once.
But it's different when Enzo says it, because Enzo says it with that force, with that push, with that with those legions of fans behind him, and
it's original. That's the point. It's original when Enzo comes out with it, and you can't have Cena rehash it, recycle and use it.
I loved the fact that AJ Styles was referencing these kids and then referenced their parents, and we didn't find just one, but two sets of parents with the exact same outfit as their children.
Yeah.
John Cena outfit, John Cena hats, John Cena waistbands, John Cena necklace, John Cena chains,
Top
John
to bottom Cena
leggings, John Cena platform shoes, everything. They were wearing the whole thing, and it was great to see. It was awesome because it proves AJ Styles' point really well. I thought the camera work went really well, and it was just an overall great effort by AJ Styles, typical effort by John Cena.
You just before recording, you did mention a Daniel Bryan video. I think that's after the show that happened. It was in reference to this segment.
What? Who?
When Daniel Bryan said something about John Cena, he was saying he was referring to comments that Cena made about Styles. He gets to go back to any other company, whereas Cena is staying in the WWE, which Bryan took offense to as well, saying him and Styles cut from the same cloth. They've been fired from promotions. They don't have anywhere else to go. Sorry, the only way they can survive is by going somewhere else. So he thought that wasn't a nice thing from Cena to say. But again, that's typical Cena, as you said.
I think the benefit of the doubt there for Cena is the fact that he's never really been anywhere else, so maybe he doesn't understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how can you comprehend what someone else has gone through when you've only been on this one path? You can only comment on your own experiences. Yes, it's probably not great that he goes down that path, but it is a TV show. Like, let's not forget how wrestling is based upon like this fake reality that's just all encompassing. So I think, fair enough. If Daniel Bryan's comments are just that, if they are just kayfabe, then it's fine. But I think if he's taking it a bit too seriously, then that's his brother-in-law. You know what I mean?
It's all about at home. Why did you say that?
Put him in a yes lock at home.
But yeah, as you're saying, microphone work, I'm highly impressed with Styles. I think he's improved as he's aged. You know, TNA, I think they were more focusing on him being visually appealing. Then he went to Japan, talked better there. Obviously, because he's one of the few that can speak English. Now in WWE, he's got the facilities. And nobody
understood him anyway. He could say anything.
Now he has got the facilities.
He's a gaijin.
He's got the experience. So yeah, I thought it was good. What did you make of the challenge? I thought, am I right in saying it was Styles that made the challenge?
It was. It was Styles who made the challenge. It was great.
Yeah, I thought that was different.
He said, no club, just me and you. And I thought that was great to see, because Cena obviously was going to accept, but it means a lot more coming from AJ Styles, because it shows that, you know what, he's here to make a statement, and he's not going to back down. And I really, really hope they don't drop the ball and make him lose at SummerSlam.
That was the surprising thing for me as well. I think the way normal feuds work out, Cena loses, he says he gets screwed, he wants to finish it. We've seen it with Rusev, seen it with Wyatt, things like that, and then Cena wins, or Cena lays down the challenge, which the heel, effectively accepts later on. And to see Styles lay down the challenge, which I thought was really fresh, which was good.
Pumps things up.
But who do you think needs to win this match?
Definitely AJ Styles. AJ Styles has already lost to a number of people this year. He's already lost to Chris Jericho. He's already lost to Roman Reigns. And the problem is a loss won't hurt Cena. A loss will hurt AJ Styles greatly, to the point where it just doesn't make him look legit, whereas Cena already has that under his belt because he's been here for so long.
I think the key thing here is that Cena has been taking a lot more outside bookings as well. He's been on the award shows, things like that, so his schedule is a little lighter now, so I think it is a waste if he wins and then you don't see him for a month. Because I think
he's part-timers, Rosa.
Yeah, his reality show's been picked up for a second season as well. I don't know when that starts filming, but Cena will be out for a while again.
What does he do?
I think it's American Grit,
It's a good thing you keep up to date with these things.
Yeah, I don't have much of a choice.
I feel like this is a learning experience for both me and the listeners.
You never know, they might know more than me.
They might be like, no, it's American Grat.
Maybe. But yeah, I think Styles does need to win. The interesting thing I found out here as well was, which does favour Styles, is SummerSlam 2011, Cena Punk, Cena lost. 2012, Cena Big Show Punk, Cena lost. 2013, Cena Bryan, Cena lost. 2014, Cena Lesnar, Cena lost. 2015, Cena Rollins, Cena lost. 2016, Cena Styles. I don't want to say much more, but it's looking good for Styles.
Yeah, it is. And I think this could be one of the classics. I've just realised AJ Styles is facing a man who has faced some great wrestlers over the past couple of years.
I think
this is going to be huge.
It is going to be. I think no club, just them two. Nobody to. I don't think there's going to be any shenanigans in this one. I think this is just two men going at it. The face of multiple promotions, TNA, NJPW, wherever, versus WWE. A match. How long have we been waiting for this?
Well, I mean, we had it like 2 months ago, but do we not talk about that one?
But you know the
do we not talk about that one?
Conclusion of the match wasn't exactly a clean finish. Let's just say. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in a singles match. I think people will still be shocked to see Styles win clean at SummerSlam against Cena.
How shocked can you be though? Like he is for a reason.
I think you expect it. I am expecting Styles to win. I just think it's just a natural reaction. Like, you know what? Maybe Cena's time at the top is now coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
Despite Styles being almost the same age as him, pretty much is the same age as him.
That's strange, isn't it? I think it's miles though that he's gotten him as well. So obviously, with the WWE, you have to be on. You literally have to be switched on the entire time.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're at these other promotions, and maybe I can't really comment on it too much, but when you're at these other promotions, you can maybe you have a little bit more downtime.
Yeah.
Whereas Cena has literally been on the entire time.
Yeah. I think this could affect SmackDown as well, because if Cena wins and he goes out, then Styles, the biggest heel, will be competing off a big loss. Whereas if Cena loses and takes time off, that makes more sense. It establishes Styles as a potential WWE Championship contender, which he is, based on talent. And I think this win will be the platform he needs to go after Ziggler or Ambrose, which we'll get onto in a minute.
So where does AJ Styles go from here? Does he go straight into the main event title picture?
I think
after if he does defeat John Cena.
If he defeats John Cena, it's Backlash next, isn't it, for SmackDown after SummerSlam?
Sure.
So yeah, it is Backlash.
Sure.
I think
got all the scoops here, people.
SmackDown will want to. I don't know, if Dean Ambrose stays a face and AJ Styles stays a heel, I can see AJ Styles getting a title shot. And I think it also depends on what happens with the Universal Championship on Raw. I think if the heel wins, the face will keep the title on SmackDown. If the face wins in Balor, I think a heel will eventually dethrone Ambrose. I think that heel could be Styles.
I think the heel could be Ziggler.
Really? Should we get onto that now then?
Let's do it.
Let's move on then. Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, they kicked off SmackDown this past week, apart from the Orton backstage segment. Dean Ambrose had a lot to say. Really shot down Ziggler. I think he's saying what a lot of fans have been thinking over the past years. Not their fault. Management did keep him down. But yeah, what do you think? Is that a heel Ambrose coming out, or is that him?
I think it's more Ambrose embodying what like you said, what everyone else is thinking.
Yeah,
it's very much. Look, Ziggler, you've been at the top. Yes, you've been held down. Like he has been. Like something that Ambrose mentioned that was incorrect was obviously the fact that Ziggler has been world champion before. Yes, he wasn't WWE champion, but at that time, the world title and the WWE title were on the same level. Yeah. Therefore, he has been world champion before. 2 times, I believe, actually. But the problem is, Ziggler has all the tools, and we hear the WWE say this about so many superstars. They've got all the tools, but right now, I guess people are seeing through him a little bit, especially because of the fact that he complains. And I think everything that Ambrose said was correct. He complains, he moans. The reason that everyone loves Ambrose is that he doesn't complain, he doesn't moan, he just gets on with it.
Yeah.
This is the same reason why someone like Cesaro maybe doesn't connect as much as he should. Is because his new gimmick now is he just seems so disgruntled. He just seems so
like he doesn't want to be there genuinely.
Yeah, exactly. And the fans want someone who they can rely on, who's going to be there, who wants to be the man. And the only way you can really do that is by being enthusiastic, by driving, by having this focus. Maybe this is the start of something great, though.
For Ziggler.
Maybe this is the heel turn that he really desperately needs. He's been so stale as a face. So stale as a face. He needs that real heel turn. He could become the Shawn Michaels of SmackDown with that heel turn, in my opinion.
Okay. I agree with something you said. I think complaining or winning the title won't get you as much support as getting on with it and winning the title, like we've seen with Ambrose. But what did you make of Ziggler's night as a whole? He did speak back to Ambrose. He did reply finally getting some decent microphone time. Then he beat Bray Wyatt. What do you think this does for him and his chances going into SummerSlam and potentially walking out at the other end as the WWE champion with the biggest title in the WWE a month after being a jobber for so many months?
I would love to see. So my predictions for SummerSlam are that Finn Balor wins the WWE Universal title and Dolph Ziggler wins the WWE Championship. And I think the reason for that and the reason why we essentially need that is to shake things up completely on both shows. Ambrose is good, but he's better when he's chasing the title. Yeah. Dolph Ziggler could be a top-level heel. He could be the Shawn Michaels heel. All that he needs to do is win the championship. I can really see it happen. I really want it to happen. But will it happen? And that's the question. Are they going to drop the ball on Ziggler like they did with so many other superstars that they should have turned heel at the right time? Cena, Reigns, so many.
But is Ziggler the guy to carry SmackDown like Ambrose can be?
But can Ambrose be, or is Ambrose better chasing the championship?
I think he is better. I won't disagree with that. I just think,
look, outside of AJ Styles and John Cena, maybe Randy Orton, who else could carry SmackDown?
You can't ask me that.
So then give it to Ziggler. Give him a chance. Everyone else is tied up in other feuds. Give it to Ziggler.
I think I'd give it to Ziggler only if he's a heel. There's no...
Oh, yeah, of course.
No other way
about it.
That's
the caveat.
Yeah, I think that has to be it.
That's the caveat.
So where do you think they go from here? Both of them. Is SummerSlam the end?
Oh, no, definitely not. This has the potential to be the next Shawn Michaels Stone Cold feud, dare I say it.
Really? That's a bold statement.
That's a very bold statement. It's also untrue. But I can see it happen. I can see it going across a couple of different shows. Backlash, as you mentioned, maybe all the way up to Survivor Series. You could have different types of matches between the two, especially if you turn Ziggler heel. But in a sense, thinking about it now, it does feel like maybe it's going to be a stopgap until AJ Styles is out of his feud with John Cena. But who better than Ziggler to face AJ Styles for the title?
Interesting.
Am I making any sense at all?
You are making sense. Some people might agree with you. Let us know. Some people might disagree with you. Let us know that as well.
Most people might disagree with me.
We'll have to wait and see.
I think.
I do think this feud can stretch out for a few months. Obviously it's relatively new. A heel turn, as you said, is needed. I do think Styles will be the next WWE champion. But I don't know, I just don't see Ziggler as the champion in the WWE. I think the only reason I say that is because the Ziggler I enjoyed the most was the heel Ziggler with AJ Lee and Big E.
But we can do that again. We can do that again with new superstars.
Who would you have?
We can rebuild. We can. No, but this is the thing. All you need to do is make Dolph Ziggler heel. You could put Alexa Bliss by his side, who is now on SmackDown.
That makes sense. I agree with that.
And you could put...
Don't say Apollo Crews. Just not. No.
I don't know why he picking on me.
Did you realize...
In his great feud with Sheamus. Yeah, I don't know why he picking on me.
Was it just me or did everyone pick up on the fact that Daniel Bryan called him Apollo Creed?
Yep.
Yeah.
And SummerSlap as well.
Yeah.
Also mentioned. SummerSlap.
But yeah, I don't think this is the main event for SummerSlam either.
What do you think is the main event?
I think it'll go to... That's a good shot. It could be Orton Lesnar, but I think it will go to Raw.
Yeah, I was going to say, does it not dilute everything if it's Orton Lesnar?
Yeah.
Oh, look, the championships aren't important. Here we are at wrestling.
I think it will be Rollins and Balor that get it. Which feud, though? That's interesting. Which feud do you think will be the must-see heading into the match?
Do you know what? I'm excited for all of them, but I think Rollins, Balor is going to be fresh, new, exciting. It's going to be something really different. And we're finally going to see Finn Balor on the main roster in a SummerSlam title match. It's going to be huge.
As the Demon as well.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the match to watch. But every feud is something that we really either haven't seen before or it's something that's going to be really, really exciting to watch.
I agree. I think in terms of wrestling, it's going to be the best match by far. Rollins and Balor, that is not Ziggler and Ambrose.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think Ziggler and Ambrose do have the potential to steal the show, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But
we will.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts on the feud. whether you're enjoying it, whether you're not. And
let us know which feud you think is going to be the most popular and most exciting to watch at our great SummerSlam event.
Please do. Just a couple of quick updates regarding the WWE. Not exactly breaking news, but things we should know. We know Cena's
scoops. Just the scoops.
Scoop. Well, yeah, I guess you could say scoops. King of the Ring, that's rumored to be returning relatively soon. I'm not sure whether it will have. It'll
be Raw exclusive.
You think because
everything is Raw exclusive, so it'll be Raw exclusive.
I think it should have Raw and SmackDown stars in it. I think that's a bit more competitive. I think that's a good way for a mid-card.
Maybe the final should be Raw versus SmackDown, but each side of the...
Oh, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, they both should be in it, but one side of the bracket should be just SmackDown. One side should be just Raw, and then in the final it will guarantee to be...
See, now that's a really good idea. I'm glad I came up with that.
That's one of the many that you do come up with. No response?
No. I'm just nodding my head. This is how radio works, right? You just nod your head.
Again, on Cena, he is. I think it is a fact that he is going to be taking more time off from the WWE. American Great has been renewed by Fox for a second season.
And I have a problem with this.
What's this?
I have a problem with this because he's supposed to be one of the marquee signings for SmackDown, and SmackDown is already so diluted, so filtered at the moment. Doesn't make sense.
He's not booked on house shows either. Many of them. I think the first time.
Why would you even, apart from AJ Styles, why would you go and watch SmackDown? Reza, let's say you're a little kid. Let's say you're 10, 12 years old. You've got your John Cena cap. You got your John Cena shirt. You got your John Cena headbands that you wear on your arm because you got massive muscles because you're just a stacked 10-year-old. And you're just there and you're like, and you've got onto your parents' computer and you're there, click, 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 and you've stolen a credit card from a parent or legal guardian or other family member, or let's just say it's from a fantastic co-host of yours on a podcast.
Let's not say that because somebody did actually use my credit card this week, but that's a different story for another time.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll go away from that story slightly.
Please do.
But let's say you're there and you typing away, and you comes up. Raw is coming to your city, and so is SmackDown. Oh, Reza, aren't you excited? Oh, type, and you're there, and you have two choices, and you look at the rosters for Raw, and you've got people like Brock Lesnar. And you've got people like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. I realize Brock Lesnar would probably not be at the house show. But we'll move on from that. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, all of your favorite superstars. Any other ones you want to see on Raw? Finn Balor. There's so many galore. Finn Balor galore.
Sasha Banks.
And then you look at SmackDown and your heart sinks. And all you see are AJ Styles, possibly Randy Orton, possibly Dolph Ziggler, possibly Tyler Breeze if he's on? Yeah, he's on SmackDown. Possibly Heath Slater if he gets signed next week. And you just decide to buy 2 tickets for Raw for you and your best pal on the podcast. And this is how a lot of kids are going to feel, because they're going to be there in their John Cena caps, their John Cena t-shirts, their John Cena headbands that they wear on their arm, and they're going to be just as disappointed as you were.
That's a touching story, that. Has this happened to you, or?
I just wanted to watch Cena versus SmackDown.
But yeah, Cena, while he cries, I'll just update you guys. The first season of American Grit, he was away for 2 months, then he returned. So I'm assuming it will be around 2 months again.
Wow, they're real tears. Wow. Oh my god.
But yeah, I think this is a sign of Cena not being the guy that we rely on anymore.
So who is the guy?
I think it will be Rollins, based on the amount of workload they can put on his shoulder and he can handle that pressure.
So who's the face guy? Don't say Ambrose.
Can it be Balor?
Balor. Finn Balor.
Finn Balor at 35?
Can we call him Finn Balor from now on?
You can if you want.
Yes, we will. Finn Balor.
Finn Balor it is. Yeah,
Michael, I've been here since my days and the time, and I like the WWE.
Well, it's like Finn Balor was actually in the room.
Finn Balor.
Balor was actually in the room. And yeah, finally, before we do move on, Bray Wyatt has suffered a potential injury during SmackDown.
God. Why?
I think he rolled on his ankle again. The referee held up that dreaded X. And apparently Bray Wyatt wasn't happy with what was going on. I don't know if that was visible on TV or whether it was during a commercial. But yeah, he
sat there behind your TV screen. You've moved on from John Cena now. You've moved on to Bray Wyatt as your favorite superstar, and you look on those SmackDown tickets that you've recently bought, and you think, yes, it's fine that John Cena's not there. I'm a member of the sheep. It's okay. Follow the buzzards, and then you realize that Bray Wyatt's injured.
Mm. And the only remaining member of the family is Eric Rowan, who closed out the show, which I thought was quite strange.
Yeah, maybe he'll solve a Rubik's Cube again.
Maybe. Oh my god, that's such a bad gig. But
his family owns a vineyard.
He does?
Yeah.
Is that his next gimmick? He's a rich wine snob. A Viking-looking wine snob.
Who fixes up old Rubik's Cubes and sells them on for profit.
Yeah, that's probably what the gimmick is. With a sheep mask.
With his sheep mask.
But yeah, let's move on. Those are just some of the updates that have been going on. We do also need to talk about Roman Reigns and Rusev.
We need to talk about Braun Strowman.
What do you want to talk about, Braun Strowman? What do you want to talk about?
The fact that the guys that are trying to... the guy would have won $5,000 if he won. I think you've got better luck by winning the Powerball. No, Byron, no. No.
I think the WWE have made a mistake by splitting the Wyatt family up, though.
Why would they do that?
Punishment of Bray Wyatt, maybe?
What for? For being amazing?
Did we not discuss this last week?
Did he get punished?
Apparently the rumour is that he's been punished because of, the TNA segment, the final deletion, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. Mm-hmm. They, that went on air. WWE did their battle between Wyatt family and the New Day, the compound. And people saw similarities, people saw differences. As expected, TNA stars were calling them out, firing shots at WWE, and then Bray Wyatt responded saying he's the most creative person they've seen over the last few years. If it wasn't for him, Brother Nero wouldn't exist. Things like that, which, he is directing towards Matt Hardy. He is referencing TNA. And apparently those comments landed him in a bit of hot water. And people are thinking that's why he went so low in the draft and why they split up the Wyatt family. Again, it might not be true. They might have other plans for Strowman. But
we didn't discuss this last week.
I thought we did.
This is breaking news.
A week later. I'm sorry about that. I thought we went through this.
No, I feel like maybe I just wasn't listening.
Maybe that's probably more likely.
What? Bray Wyatt's been demoted?
Apparently, yeah.
When did this happen?
We'll see what happens with
final deletion.
What is that?
Brother Nero, don't be silly now.
But we will move on to Rusev and Roman Reigns. Monday night, Rusev did defeat Mark Henry on Raw. United States title on the line. He talked about the Olympics for some strange reason. Banning Russia. Are Bulgarian athletes even banned? I mean, he said they are. I'm sure it's just Russian athletes, but yeah. Then Reigns interfered, surprisingly, to...
Hark! What is that, fairest Raza? Dost thou hear cheers for Roman Reigns?
I had to watch it again to make sure it's not... I can believe it now. He was being cheered.
Indeedeth, those be cheers.
What was your reaction to Reigns being...
Roman! Huzzah! Huzzah! Do you think it's just because it's against Rusev and he what has Roman Reigns been juicing up as well? Again, did he not get done for this?
What do you mean again? He just recently...
Looks huge!
I think his vest is probably tighter.
Oh, have they just expanded it?
Maybe.
Puffed it up. He's like that guy where and he makes himself bigger. Like a balloon. He's pumping up a balloon inside him.
It just look different now. Different gear colour. Beard. Looks bigger, yeah. Beard as well. I think...
He definitely got... I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. He definitely got booed as well.
Yeah.
But he got cheers, and this was really strange. And maybe it is because now people expect him to lose, and WWE have taken him away from being in the main event, taken him away from being their next John Cena.
Is that fair?
WWE realised... Oh, definitely.
I mean, okay, so maybe they've realised talent-wise it doesn't belong there, but is it fair to do this based on an anti-doping violation?
Yes.
But why should Lesnar win? He should be punished.
I have a feeling Lesnar was taking an estrogen blocker, which means that he was taking that after. But anyway, that's besides the point, Reza. I think we're talking about Roman Reigns now. We had the time to talk about Brock Lesnar earlier.
What was your reaction then to him being cheered? More cheered than booed, let's say.
I was surprised. I was very surprised, as I'm sure you were as well. It was great to see, though, because people can now concentrate on Roman Reigns, the wrestler, rather than Roman Reigns, the WWE puppet for the main event. He doesn't have to be fake. He can just be himself now, and he will gain that popularity vote. He will gain that very, very soon.
I think based on cheers, again, I was surprised. Again, let's not sugarcoat it, he wasn't 100% cheered. But I've not heard cheers like that since his Shield days, properly. Again, the interesting thing to note is, was he cheered because he answered Rusev? Or was he cheered because fans have realised, okay, now he's going to work his way towards the top by starting off with the US title? Because it's clear he is going to go for the US title.
And I think it is that. I think it definitely is that. I think whoever you put him against there, as long as it's not someone who is going to get a greater fan reaction, so someone like Rollins, someone like Balor, someone like...
Any feud with the Universal Championship now, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
For now, until he genuinely works his way.
Keep him away from that title for 2 years.
Again, what do you think works better then? Having Reigns in this role, where he can fight Rusev, have the US title, be in the mid-card, be the face of the mid-card, you could say, because maybe he will get cheered, or turn heel, which is what everyone wants him to do.
Do you know what? You could keep him face for a bit. Why not build up the US Championship like you did when Cena was champion? Cena got cheered when he was US champion.
Reigns can do that. He's not all bad.
Easily.
Yeah.
Do you know what? He's a very good wrestler. We've seen him face AJ Styles and pull off stellar matches. Obviously, that's probably more to do with Styles, but it's not like...
It takes two to tango.
Exactly.
You have to... You can't just give all the credit to one person.
I mean, you can give most of it to AJ Styles, but without Reigns there, he would have just jumped straight through a table.
Again, I'm happy with Reigns answering Rusev. I think that should be a good feud. Should be a good match. How long do you think that's going to stretch out for, though?
I would love to see it go well past SummerSlam and maybe over the next couple of months, maybe up to October. What's the October pay-per-view?
Do you want to stall again?
Yeah, yep. So in wrestling, there are two different sides. There's faces and there's heels. Faces are usually the bad guys. And they're called faces because you can't trust their faces. Now, the heels are the back of the foot. And Achilles had one of these, but he was very weak. In fact, people said that was his only strength.
I'm here now.
There we go.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I don't know.
The way I see it is... you have SummerSlam next, then you have SmackDown's Backlash, then you have September again. So there's 2 in September, let's just make that clear.
There's 2?
There's 2 in September. Clash of Champions is Raw, but October 30th is Hell in a Cell, but that hasn't been confirmed.
So hold on, so have they changed their pay-per-view schedule completely?
I believe so.
Oh no, now I need to book new times off work.
Oh, that's a shame.
This is painful.
As in, I don't know if this is if it's official, but for the rest of the year, it is SummerSlam, Backlash, Clash of Champions, Hell in a Cell is in October, Survivor Series in November, Roadblock is in December.
No, that sounds about right.
Based on a leak image, let's see if I can get this. So yeah, Royal Rumble is a Raw and SmackDown, WrestleMania, Raw and SmackDown.
What's Fastlane?
Fastlane doesn't have a brand.
I'm assuming that would be both as well then.
Oh, but the thing to know about Backlash is it's a network exclusive, whether that means TV stations aren't going to be picking that up.
Surely that's the way they should go with all the pay-per-views apart from the big four now, because people aren't going to... I mean, if you buy your pay-per-views not on the WWE network now, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's so much cheaper, it's so much more convenient.
Okay, so this contradicts the other one. This says No Mercy takes place after Clash of Champions, which is SmackDown. And then Hell in a Cell, which is Raw. So that means TLC goes to SmackDown after Survivor Series is dual brand, and then Roadblock goes to Raw, then Royal Rumble dual, things like that.
This is so confusing.
It is. But yeah, back to the point, you're thinking it can go to Hell in a Cell, because that's what's after Clash of Champions.
Yep, sure. I would love to see it go all that way. I think it's a good feud between two big people who are only going to get better by wrestling each other. I mean, Rusev has already come up leaps and bounds. Putting him in a feud with someone like Roman Reigns would elevate them both, would really show that Reigns can do it without getting booed the entire time, and just elevate everyone.
I agree. I think you have to look forward to other feuds as well. I mean, a face Reigns against a Kevin Owens, I'm not sure how that would go because Kevin Owens is still popular among the WWE universe. So I think you do have to be careful with picking and choosing stars that are, genuinely booed by the WWE universe.
But then a heel Reigns has so much more potential.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
We've always been harping on about this.
What could a heel Reigns work with the United States title?
Oh, definitely.
Again, then you have the Sami Zayns and
Exactly. Finn Balor's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think Finn Balor's gonna.
It's Balor, Rosa. It's Balor.
Oh, just gonna pin this on me. I mean, you could say that was a huge fall from grace. Then, going from the world title scene to the US title scene in a matter of months. Or is this good for the title and Reigns and Rusev?
It's good. I think it's good for all three of them. I definitely do. I think you're bringing the championship to the forefront. The WWE is obviously punishing Reigns to a degree, but also saying, you know what, here's a championship that you can win, that people will respect you for. The fans will start cheering for you because you're away from the main event picture.
Yeah.
You're giving them. I mean, look, how can you complain with Raw at the moment? Your main event is Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, and you're putting Roman Reigns in the mid-card picture where he's going to flourish. He's going to absolutely flourish because he was never meant to be the top guy. He was forced into that position. This is so good for him, and Rusev will get the rub as well, and Rusev will make Roman Reigns look good.
I agree. Let us know your thoughts on this feud, or what you think, which direction it's going to go in, which feud you'd like to see Reigns take part in as well.
Hey, we never finished who the third person was going to be in Ziggler's crew of him and Alexa Bliss.
Who do you want it to be?
I have a number of names here.
Okay, can you quickly go through them?
Number 1, Big E Langston. I heard he's available.
Okay.
Number 2, Shelton Benjamin.
Okay.
Number 3, Virgil.
I'm not going to carry on this because this is probably going to get into a bit of trouble.
Number 4, A-Train. No, so you didn't go the way you thought it was going to go.
Okay.
I'm just naming people that have been good valets and or tag teams.
Okay, fair point. Before we do move on to the final segment...
Number 5, Big Show.
One thing I did forget to mention, which I might want to pay attention to, is SmackDown will be introducing new titles. I think Daniel Bryan let it slip in an interview that the women are getting a new title and the tag team division.
Great.
Well.
Those 5 women will get to fight the Divas Championship.
But there's no talk of having their own separate title. Again, the Cruiserweight should be on SmackDown, shouldn't be on Raw. We can get into that another time. But in the main event this week, we're wrapping up the week in general. The big question everyone wants to know every single week is who won, Raw or SmackDown Live. What happened on the shows that we enjoyed? I'll let Ive go ahead this week. Who do you think won this week and why?
Well, thank you, Reza. Let me start off with my analysis by stating that SmackDown is always going to be at a disadvantage for a lot of the points we've already mentioned, for the roster, for the time allocated to the brand, and just overall for the stigma that it still has. Despite this, it was a very, very solid week from SmackDown. We had the debut of American Alpha. We had the real formation of Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose and that feud, as well as that we had a great match in Dolph Ziggler versus Bray Wyatt. Yes, it didn't go the way we wanted it to, but that was the main event, and it really shone. But this week I'm going to have to give it to Raw. Okay. And I think you'll agree with me in that point, because we had Finn Balor and Seth Rollins ignite their feud. We had Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton end the show with an RKO out of nowhere that really just, again, started everything off. It does feel like a re-beginning, a reimagining, and this is very much the initial stages. Yeah. This is where SmackDown needs to gain that traction, but unfortunately this week, Raw is the outright winner.
I do think SmackDown are doing a good job making the most of what they have. You can't discredit them for that. They're doing amazing for a 2-hour show with a depleted roster, fewer championships, but they have the Ultimate Championship with them. But I agree, it has to go to Raw. Some of the stuff they've done this week is what fans have been calling for.
I do think a number of stars on Raw would do better on SmackDown.
Of course, Cesaro being number 1, yeah.
Chris Jericho as well. I think him and Enzo Amore had an amazing beginning segment, obviously with Sasha Banks and the lovely Charlotte in the ring as well.
Enjoyable segment, that. I think that was something different, something fresh. It wasn't the usual spiel you got with the Authority all those months ago, so it was good.
Hey, Rosa. I don't.
I'm doing fantastic.
I don't.
Oh, are we reenacting? Are we reenacting this segment?
I don't.
But yeah, I agree with that. I think Raw is going to win a lot. I do think the WWE have made a massive mistake in having the Cruiserweight division on Raw. It should be on SmackDown. I think even without it, Raw...
Did they even compete this week?
Who?
The Cruiserweights.
I think the Cruiserweights are going to come in, the way I've heard, or I assume it's going to be, is...
All the scoops.
The Cruiserweight Classic, they're going to compete week after. I think we're only in the first round here, so it's going to be quite a while.
Okay.
They're going to compete. I think the final will be for the Cruiserweight Championship, and then you're on Raw. And I think that's when you can effectively use your guys better, like your Nevilles and people like that, who are Cruiserweights. But I do think if Raw didn't have the Cruiserweight division, it would still succeed, whereas SmackDown would be elevated. Then you have real competition.
Exactly. And don't forget, the greatest return ever occurred on Raw. Jinder Mahal.
Oh, yes, of course. Jinder Mahal. It was a good way to get.
If I've ever heard someone get zero reaction, it was this week on Raw with Jinder Mahal.
Of course. The quietest return ever. I'd love to see what happened during commercial when they did come out. Surely it's going to be somewhere. Actually, I don't want to see it. It's going to be really painful to watch.
Yeah, it is. This is a human being, Rosa. Good God Almighty.
But I think by that you can tell what his role is going to be on Raw.
Yeah, everyone needs a jobber.
But keep your eyes peeled on SmackDown. Apparently,
not literally.
Shelton Benjamin's coming soon, and Kurt Hawkins might be re-signing soon as well.
What?
Of course. Well, I'm afraid that is all we have time for this week. We did make a decision Raw wins. Let us know who you thought won this week anyway. Thanks to all of you that stuck around to the end to listen. We'd love to hear any and all of your thoughts, so please do get in touch. Thanks to you all again. Thank you to Ari for joining me today.
You are welcome.
We'll be back next week with another episode with much more to talk about and discuss. I've been your host, Reza, and you've been listening to the Main Event Podcast.